What's going on YouTube? This is Rod checking in with you real quick. All right, you guys, so I'm going to explain the top 5 easiest vegetables that you can grow right now in your garden. So if you're a beginner gardener or this is your first time growing your own food, don't even worry, I got your back. I'm going to make sure that you have an easy time growing your own food, and this selection is going to help you become successful as a gardener, right? So just remember, this is just my opinion, and from my experience, I feel like this list is perfect for people to grow food without no problem, right? So let's just dive right into it. We ain't gonna waste no time. So number 5 on the list, we definitely got sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes is very easy to grow. The 2 main things that you need is sunlight, and you need a lot of space. Sweet potatoes love the heat, and they definitely love to grow, okay? So just make sure you save an extra little bit of space for your sweet potatoes, all right? So the main thing you need to know on where to get your sweet potatoes is you can go right to the supermarket. You can go to Whole Foods, you can go to Publix, but just make sure that your root is organic. Get the organic sweet potatoes. You got different varieties. You got the red ones, you got the orange ones, and you got Japanese purple sweet potatoes. So just choose your favorite ones. And when it comes to planting them, don't plant them too deep. You just want to plant them right underneath the soil, like the surface of the soil. I want to say like 1 to 2 inches on average, okay? Now, usually it take about, I want to say from start to harvest, it want to take about like 4 to 6 months before you can actually extract sweet potatoes from your garden, okay? So it does take a little time, but don't worry. Just plant them in the ground and don't even worry about them. Just forget about them, because before you know it, you're going to start to see them emerge from the ground. Big old sweet potatoes. Sometimes they can be as big as your arm, like literally. I've seen it. So that's sweet potato for number 5 on the list, all right? So number 4 on the list, we have beans. Beans is very easy to grow without no problem. You definitely can grow green beans in your garden. Beans is very easy to get. You definitely can go to the website or the Home Depot. But if you go to Home Depot, just make sure you get the organic ones, okay? Just like I said, just want to make sure you got the best of the best. But you actually can go to the supermarket as well. So while you're picking up the sweet potatoes, go ahead and go in the dry department and go pick up some beans. Sometimes, most times they sell them in bags, or you can actually have them in the bulk section where you can scoop your own beans. But just make sure you get the dry ones. The dry ones will definitely sprout, and it really don't take that long for them to sprout, like maybe 3 or 4 days or something like that. Now from seed to harvest, beans usually take about like 60 to 65 days before you can harvest any beans, all right? You will see them like, flower within like 40 days or something like that, but they quick, especially like black beans, regular green beans, like the ones that you snap and just eat fresh. Those grow very fast. Kidney beans, lima beans, whatever the beans that you feel that you want to grow in the garden, go ahead and get them in the soil, all right? So that's beans for number 4 on the list. So number 3 on the list, you definitely got sunflowers. Sunflowers is very easy to grow. I promise you, I'm not gonna lie to you. Sunflowers, we love sunflowers because they provide 2 things. So they definitely provide like good space for your pollinators. Like your pollinators love sunflowers, like your bees, your ladybugs, even wasps too, even though we don't like wasps. But your bees, dragonflies or whatever, they love to go ahead and touch the sunflowers. They like to let them know they're there, and they actually will pollinate them for you. And on top of that, it will help other plants that you have in your garden as well to be pollinated. So from start to finish with sunflowers, I want to say about like 65 days as well, just like with the beans, because once you plant that seed, it's going to take off fast. Like it's not going to waste no time. And it's not going to give you a hard time either. Sometimes you might have to stake them up a little bit, but it just depends on what variety you get. One of my favorite varieties is the mammoth one. That's the one that gets like 6 to 8 feet tall. And they got like thick stalks, y'all. Like they grow like crazy. But they got the best tasting sunflowers when it's ready to harvest, all right? So that's number 3. You definitely need to grow some sunflowers for your garden, okay? So number 2 on the list, you got kale. Kale is a green. It might not be considered a vegetable, but it is to me, kind of. So definitely grow some kale. It's very easy to grow. Low maintenance, low requirements. You don't really need that much. Now, you do want to give it some kind of nitrogen, so that way they can go ahead and get a nice head start as far as growing goes. Usually from start to finish, from start to harvest, it usually take about, I want to say, 65 to 75 days before you see any produce from your kale plant, all right? Usually I like to start those from seeds, so make sure you get some organic seeds from your best source that you feel comfortable with, either Home Depot, Baker's Creek, which is rareseeds.com, or Trade Winds. You can go with those options, okay? But I suggest you to start those from seed. I heard you can start those from cutting. I don't know how true that is, but hey, you can experiment too if you want to, all right? So that's number 2 on the list, and that's kale. So number 1. All right, number 1 on the list, you got radish. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, radish is not my favorite vegetable to grow because I don't really know too much what to do with radish other than putting it in salads or maybe an omelet or something like that. Now, radish is very easy to grow. It literally takes anywhere between 25 to 30 days to harvest. Like literally, it's fast. It's one of the fastest growing. I want to say microgreens is. I don't know if that counts, but microgreens is. But as far as this list goes, radish is very easy and it grows very fast for you. Now, you do want to start those from seeds. Now, you can start those from the actual root, but I'm going to be real with you. Just go ahead and start them from seed because you're going to get that nice, perfect round shape when it's time for them to harvest. Now, you got 2-in-1 deal. You got the greens and you got the roots. So you definitely can eat the greens. You can put them in your smoothie. You can saute them, or you can eat them raw as a salad too, all right? So another thing, radish really don't need that much fertilizer at all. You don't really have to do anything much to them. You probably can give them a boost of phosphorus. A balance of phosphorus is probably good for them too. But if you do nothing to them, just make sure you have a good base of soil, like got fresh compost, got life in your soil. That's all you really need for them to grow and take off. Now, usually in Florida, radish, they like the winter time. They don't like the summertime too much. So it just depends on what your climate is. So go ahead and grow some radish. If you like radish, go ahead. You can just take off with them without no problem. All right, you guys. So thank y'all so much for tuning into the video. So that's my top 5 easiest vegetables that you can grow right now in your garden. So if you vibe with this content, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We got more videos on the way, and please stay tuned. Peace.